Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Jump Off Sides podcast. I'm Ed.
I'm Los.
And this is your week 2 recap. A lot of great games happened, a lot of fun stuff. We got a lot to talk about. And let's kick it off.
Yeah, man. It was an interesting week to say the least. I mean, there's a little dust on the players still, a little rust. So it's going to be interesting to see how it goes for the rest of the season. But we'll jump in with the Bills and the Dolphins. And first thing to talk about really is Tua. I mean, another concussion. I think that's his 4th in the last 2 years.
Yeah, I think so.
3 in 2022 and then that one this year. It's getting a little scary at this point, a little hectic. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Man, the human in me, you just feel for Tua.
Yeah.
Because his body had the same reaction that it did last year against the Bengals, I believe.
It was 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Last year he stayed healthy.
You're right. 2 years ago against the Bengals. That was something you never wanted to see again. And the irony was he did it against DeMar Hamlin. Right?
Yeah, right.
And what's crazy is with Tua is he's not usually a runner, so I don't think he knows how to protect his body like that.
Yeah, he kind of went head first into his chest, which is very interesting. But
even before that, though, the Bills had his number. Dolphins were looking that good. It's sad the Dolphins are kind of in the mud now.
Yeah.
But James cooked.
Correct.
He did. And the Bills prevailed again against Miami. He had a game. 3 tuds, I believe.
I think it was 3 tuds.
3 tuds, and he was just running all over that Miami defense. And I mean, it's still hard to focus on football after that because, Tua, you feel for the guy. They say he said he doesn't plan on retiring. It's just like, I don't know, man. You got your money, and you can.
Yeah, I think you summed it up pretty well. Tua, I mean, I get he's a competitor and he wants to keep moving, but sometimes you got to take a step back and really think about what you're doing, what decisions you're making. In the heat of the moment, you might think it's the best decision for you, but sometimes you got to get outside opinions as well as kind of reevaluate after a couple of days and see what's the best thing. Dolphins, I mean, Achane still looking really good. Everybody else kind of suffered a little bit because Skylar Thompson. I don't think he's a number 1 quarterback, but he is a decent backup. I think they signed Tyler Huntley to their practice squad.
Huntley.
We might see him pop up here soon in the next couple weeks. Who knows? He's just got to learn the system a little bit better. But yeah, I mean, it's a tough one to see on a Thursday night, to be honest with you. So
completely.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say the Dolphins' playoff hopes are totally screwed, but
it's not looking hot.
It's not looking hot for the Dolphins down there.
Yeah. So we'll move on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's go and talk about the 49ers and the Vikings.
Man,
what a game.
That was a good game. And I think all of these games, these 2 first games really summarized week 2. Week 2 we had a lot of injuries, y'all.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Before the game, you saw C-Mac, Chris McCaffrey's put on IR.
Correct.
You got Deebo Samuel now. He's going to be missing a couple games.
Correct.
There's just Fred Warner also got nicked. Nick Bosa got nicked as well.
Correct, yep.
But Sam Darnold, he played a really solid game.
Looked
for
fantastic.
The Vikings. Looked fantastic. Justin Jefferson, best receiver out there in the league. There's no question about it. He's not Jamar Chase.
No, that 97-yard touchdown was crazy. He kind of slowed down and then hit a misdirection and just went straight across the field. Man. I don't know if you saw that ref. That ref was keeping up with him.
Oh, the hip turn on the ref. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. That was
going.
If y'all haven't seen that, go check that highlight. That ref, he was the true highlight of that play.
That guy was insane.
Moving. But yeah, the 49ers, not a bad game, but not a great game by their standards.
No, absolutely.
I think Kevin O'Connell and Brian Flores outcoached Kyle Shanahan and
1,000%.
And the defensive coordinator. Wait, isn't the defensive coordinator Staley?
I actually don't know, to be honest with you.
I think San Francisco's defense coordinator is Brandon Staley. I'm gonna get the fact check on that. But yeah, just a great game once again by Sam Darnold. Aaron Jones, I think, had a pretty good game as well.
Yeah.
San Francisco not looking so good. Their only weapon right now is Kittle and Brandon Ayuk.
Ayuk, yeah. I mean, they still got Jordan Mason, so that's still a good thing.
But look, again, it's only week 2.
Yeah, exactly.
So, what are your thoughts?
I was right. I think I mentioned that the Vikings were going to ruin in our predictions. I think I said the Bills as well, so I'm 2 for 2 on that. But yeah, no, it was a good game. Sam Darnold is kind of showing up, and he's kind of showing that, hey, maybe the Jets are the problem, Geno Smith went to the Seattle Seahawks, and he's balling as well. So it might just be the system that they were in. But again, who knows with that? Different outcomes, different teams, all that. It was a good game. I liked it. I enjoyed it a lot. And I was excited to see the 49ers get knocked down a little bit. And now we're going to see really if Purdy is a true number one quarterback.
That is very true. It's, hey, Brock Purdy, feed Ayuk or step up, lead your team, and see what can we can see what happens with that if he deserves that money.
Yeah.
Next game.
All right, next game is going to be Seahawks and Patriots. So on that one, I don't have much to talk about. It was a close game. I think Geno looked great. He targeted Njigba as well as Metcalf a lot, and they stepped it up. They did a lot of yards, both of them actually. So it was pretty insane. I think it was a really good game for the Seahawks, but that defense kind of allowed the Patriots to kind of stay in it. And those running backs, Stevenson and Antonio Gibbs, one of your old faithful, they balled out. So
honestly, I want to give some props to the Patriots. I and a lot of other people thought the Patriots would be the worst and the absolute worst team in the league. And for 2 straight weeks, they played really good games. Gerard Mayo's got them playing well. Jacoby Brissett is out here balling.
For sure.
Their young wide receivers are playing well as well. That defense is playing really, really well. They took a solid Seattle team to overtime.
Correct.
Geno Smith balled out, but, I think he had to ball out in order for Seahawks to win.
Yeah.
So watch out for the Patriots, y'all. They're playing really, really well. They're definitely probably going to be a sleeper team this year. Shout out Seattle, though. Yeah. Geno really did target Smith and Jigbo a lot this game, which really didn't happen a lot last year.
Yeah.
So we love to see the improvement, i.e. Shane Waldron is now the OC of the Bears. We'll get to that later. But great game by the Seahawks. Great game. If you guys don't have anything else to do, see if you can go back and watch those highlights, watch that game again. It was a really fun game to watch.
Correct. Yeah. A lot of targets, a lot of receptions from these wide receivers. They were playing great. Patriots, I mean, they still got a little things to tweak here and there. But I was surprised as well. I didn't think they were going to do that well this year. I didn't think they were going to be the worst. I still had my money on the Broncos for that.
True.
But they're still looking decent, and that's actually very surprising, especially with their rookie QB still in a backup,
wings,
right? Yeah, just waiting for his chance.
Yeah.
So who knows when that will change. Yeah, I mean, that was a good game. So let's move on to something a little more interesting.
Giants Commanders, where the Giants become the first ever team in the NFL to score 3 touchdowns, not allow a single touchdown,
and lose.
Of
course, it had
to
be
my
the
Commanders.
It had to be the Commanders.
Listen, this was actually a pretty good game to watch. It was kind of entertaining. Both teams.
Sorry,
what? It was kind of entertaining. Both teams are moving the ball up and down the field. You had a breakout game from Malik Neighbors, who was targeted like 16 to 18 times, feasting on the Commanders' corners, which are the weakest part of their team. And then on the other side, you had Jaden Daniels, no pun intended, but commanding the offense. You had Brian Robertson over 130 rushing yards on just 17 carries. Austin Eckler had a pretty good game. Zach Ertz had about 4 catches for about 60 plus yards. Noah Brown had another 3 catches for 60 yards as well. So it was a pretty good game. Unfortunate for the Giants, of course, because they lose their kicker on the opening kickoff, and therefore they can't score any extra points. They didn't get no 2-point conversions, and they lose the game to a kicker who was signed on Monday, Austin Seibert, who broke the Commanders' record for most field goals made in the game. So,
correct.
A lot of pluses for the Commanders. Downside for the Giants, you still have Daniel Jones, but you have Malik Neighbors. The defense, though, they showed up a little bit. I think it was a pretty solid game for them a little bit. Listen, these are 2 bottom-tier teams anyway. These are 2 bottom-tier teams anyway. There's no making the playoffs for either of these 2 teams, but you have a lot to say, don't you?
I do have a lot to say.
Go ahead.
Mean, if you're looking as a Commanders fan, this is a little embarrassing. I'm sorry. The Giants, they have so much to fix. They lost Saquon. They got Singletary, who, don't get me wrong, he's a decent back. He's nothing crazy. They got one wideout who's a star, right? Neighbors. He showed that. He was a little frustrated as well watching the game. He kind of was just getting upset because he's trying to win the game and everything.
When he dropped that pass,
exactly.
Down, so.
Yeah. So when it comes to the Commanders, you should be doing way better than this. It shouldn't be that close of a game.
I disagree.
I think if the Giants had their kicker, they win the game. Come on now. I mean, they have to go for 2 points.
Yeah, but
3 times.
Yeah, so that's 3 points right there. So it's 21-21. It's 21-21.
That's embarrassing.
I don't think.
Well, no, there was times where I think they punted, if I'm not mistaken, where they could have actually gone
They punted a couple times a game. Commanders didn't punt at all.
Exactly.
Commanders had 7 scoring drives,
but you still didn't actually get a touchdown. So
okay, so score a touchdown. It's 28-18.
Yeah, but my whole thing is, it seemed like you guys were struggling in the red zone to actually get a touchdown. Now
they definitely made some mistakes.
The team I think Scary Terry needs a little more help, if you ask me. I mean, Noah Brown looked decent. Luke McCaffrey, I think he got targeted once maybe, and that was in the end zone. And the ball wasn't a good one. I think the team just has a lot to still figure out and fix. The defense looked pretty terrible. I mean, it's the Giants. Come on, I mean, they had a bad opening week against the Vikings. So again, I think it's just the Commanders got a lot to figure out. And I'm sticking with them being a 5-win team this season, unfortunately. So I'm sorry. They look bad. I know people are going to say, hey, he's hating on them and everything. I expected a little bit more. You know what I mean? If they would have scored at least 1 touchdown, I'm like, all right, cool. But
you expected more from a rebuilding team.
Correct. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Los, the harshest critic I know. But it's cool. It's cool. This is why we love football. Because it's week 2. All of these teams that we go over can grow or get worse.
Yeah.
So, that's the fun of covering this game with y'all. And if you like this content, go ahead and like the video, subscribe, comment, share with your friends. When you comment, tell us what we're doing wrong. Tell us, give us some advice. Let us know what you like, what we're doing. And we're going to try our best to keep this going every week for y'all.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could tell we're in a new background, so new place. We're going to be jumping around here and there. We might even be on Zoom calls, things like that, just to kind of coordinate and get stuff out there. So you guys will see a little bit of differences here and there in the content, but we'll try to keep it the same regarding what we speak about and everything. But yeah, you might just see different places, different studios, things like that from us on that end. And, hopefully we kind of coordinate everything perfectly and keep things moving as best as possible. So let's go ahead and kick it off to the next game.
Chargers, Panthers, your first loss of the predictions, because you somehow, for some reason, picked the Panthers over the Chargers.
Yeah, man, keep pounding.
And I told you what, keep pounding the losses.
Look, man, there's a lot of problems with that team. I've heard so many different sides of it. I think a lot of people are being harsh on the team. I think a lot of people are being harsh on Bryce Young. Don't get me wrong, it's not like he looked lights out. But if you go back to last season, how many games they lost by 1 score? I mean, they were competitive. I mean, the Packers last year, 33-30, right? They beat them. So that was, I think, Christmas Day, if not Christmas Eve. So the Panthers were competitive last year. I don't know if you remember well, but they were keeping up with all the teams that they were playing with. Don't get me wrong, they were losing.
Okay. And their coach got fired after a 1-11 season.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you get what I'm saying? It's if you go back, it's not like they were getting destroyed like they are this season.
Okay. Hey, look, I'll go back to last year. If there are any Panthers fans watching,
Jarlin.
Is there any credence to what Los is saying? Were they competitive last year? But it's this year. And they got dog walked by the Chargers, which honestly kind of predicted because the Chargers are just a much better team. Look, Bryce Young looks broken, and he got benched this week. Dave Canales, second game as a head coach, you're not looking too hot. However, the way this roster is constructed, they already lost their ground, their best defensive tackle.
Correct.
Adam Thielen is their best wide receiver, who is getting open this year, as opposed to last year. It wasn't getting open that much. But you have Deontay Johnson, who wasn't playing a big role. There's trade rumors surrounding him. There's no one on that defense. Is J.C. Horn still there?
Yeah, he is.
He's still there.
And he was the only player, if you watch kind of the highlights, he was the only player I seen like on that defense.
Actually doing something.
Working his butt off.
Yeah. So
I even saw him drop down and even get a tackle for loss.
Exactly.
which is like insane because
for a corner.
Exactly.
Doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
The way the Panthers roster is constructed, you kind of just feel bad for Bryce Young.
Yeah.
I feel bad for you Panthers fans. Listen, David Tepper.
Solid team. Solid team.
After Dan Snyder's gone, David Tepper is probably the worst owner out here, and it's just not fair to the team. It's not fair to the fans.
No, it's not.
I wish you guys better because I like the Panthers. I've always liked the Panthers, from Jake Delhomme to Steve Smith to when they were in the Super Bowl all those years ago.
Cam Newton,
Luke Kuechly.
Oh my God! What a dog!
Early Christian McCaffrey,
Greg
even with
Olsen,
the interest, Greg Olsen, DJ Moore, Jonathan Stewart.
Yeah.
Oh man,
they had some characters.
Thomas Davis.
Yeah, a lot of changes for this team. Unfortunately, not for the better. This team has been kind of going downhill. And like what I was referring to last season. I mean, if we look back. Against the Saints, their first game against the Saints, they lost 20-17.
Were we at that game?
Yeah, we were actually.
Yeah, we were at that
It was
game.
a pretty interesting game. Panthers against the Seahawks, 27-37. They got beat by the Lions pretty well. Vikings versus the Panthers, 21-13. But Kirk O'Chains was out there. I mean, kind of looking back, they beat the Texans. Congrats, who they lost to the Bears 16-13, which wasn't a decent team at that time, but still. Titans 17-10, Buccaneers 21-18.
So they were a little bit more competitive last year.
Yeah, they were close. Falcons 7-9. They actually beat the Falcons. Packers 33-30. You get what I'm saying? They were out there putting in work. Don't get me wrong, they were still not an amazing team, but
definitely
they were actually competitive. Bryce Young, he was actually doing work. Getting 200 yards here and there, actually getting a decent amount of completions. And if you ask me, the roster back then was actually a little bit worse. They had Thielen, they had Tommy Tremble, Chuba Hubbard, who I think
they had Brian Burns.
They had
Jeremy Chin.
They had Jeremy Chin as well. They had Luvu, and they had Derek Brown. So they had a little bit more talent on the defensive side, but the offense, I mean, it was still a struggle.
Still
Miles
there.
Sanders first year,
Yeah.
Chuba Hubbard. I mean, he's like I said, I think he's going to be fantastic. The offensive line is, people like to say they're like a top 5 pass protection. I didn't really see it. When Bryce kind of moved out of the pocket, you could watch the offensive line kind of give up.
But is that Bryce's fault though?
No, it's not. Absolutely not. So
I don't know. It just looks like some plays Bryce does look lost.
No, he does look lost. I'll give you that. But when you see your offensive line give up, and you can watch the highlights, they actually just stop moving and they just watch the guy run to the left and he's looking for something to do. And at that point, he should have just thrown the ball. Right?
Absolutely. Just throw it away.
Still, the fact that his offensive line kind of just left it for those guys to go hunt him down, it's pretty sad. So
it's sad in North Carolina, y'all.
Yeah. Hopefully it gets better here in the next couple of years. I mean, maybe Arch Manning, maybe a Shador Sanders, maybe a Cam Ward, who knows?
Maybe.
They just got to figure stuff out.
But they don't even have their second round draft pick this year.
They do not. They only have their first this year. So
Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
Panthers fans, I hope it gets better for you, but it's not looking too great in the near future.
Not yet. Yeah, so I think that's enough about them. We can move on to a very interesting game. Saints versus Cowboys.
A game you picked the Cowboys to win.
Yeah.
And I picked the Saints to win.
You only picked the Saints because of spite. All right. You don't like the Cowboys because they're your division rivals and everything. So whatever, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't care.
You do not believe in Derek Carr. That's all I have to say.
Now I do.
Now you do.
Dude, after 2 weeks of putting up 40 plus points.
Okay, first week was against the Panthers. Let's step it back a little bit. The Chargers let go a little bit on the gas, so they kind of just let it play out. But
all in all, I think I like Derek Carr in this offense. So far from what I've seen, I like him in this offense.
I agree. I think they have enough weapons to kind of make a case. On top of that, the team's pretty much stayed solid and the same for the last couple of years, which is great. I mean, when you don't have a lot of turnover, it's better because people get better on the offense, right? They get better with knowing each other, the personnel, kind of how people work together, stuff like that.
And knowing the system.
Right, knowing the system too. Yeah, so that's another thing. So Cowboys were embarrassing. I think your defense just let it go, and they couldn't stop them.
I think the Saints scored on 6 straight possessions, 6 straight touchdowns.
Jeez.
Like, Alvin Kamara had 4 touchdowns.
Alvin,
I think
stop
by
it.
the end of like the
Stop
first half.
it. Who is letting you do this? Stop it.
I remember watching the game. It was the second drive, right? Yeah. The first play of the second drive was a 70-yard bomb to Rashid Shaheed.
Yeah.
Pass to the Saints. We'll pump the brakes on the Saints bandwagon for now.
Yeah. Because
we got to see them play much better teams than the
It's
first
week 2,
teams.
guys.
It's week 2.
It's week 2.
But I will say I love Derek Carr in the system. I love Alvin Kamara. He looks amazing again. Rashid Shaheed, absolute burner. The defensive side looks solid. Their top corner, Marshawn Lattimore, didn't even play.
No.
He didn't even play. And CD had 1 touchdown, which was great, but they limited everybody else. Cowboys, on the other hand, you don't have any other weapons other than CD. It's just Dak and CD right now. Ezekiel Elliott is old.
They got Brandon Cooks.
He didn't do anything this game. He's old too.
Yeah.
Your starting tight end injured Ferguson, so Schoonmaker. He had a one-handed grab that was nice.
Yeah, no, he didn't look bad. They've always had decent tight ends, so that's not the big worry. Yeah, but I think the biggest thing is your defense for Dallas is just getting pushed, getting bullied by an offensive line that we didn't really think would be that good starting the season. Their center's pretty solid.
Ruiz,
and their guards are pretty good too. So the tackles are a little iffy. Yeah. But I do think that the Saints offense is way better than the Cowboys offense if you really look at it. I mean,
absolutely.
If you do comparisons, I mean, Olave, he didn't do much this game in my opinion, but I think him and Shaheed are great opposites to each other, right? I mean, one's a kind of long ball specialist,
technician, and then one's a long,
correct,
long ball section.
And then you got Jawan at the tight end position.
Yeah,
you got Taysom Hill who could play tight end, running back, quarterback.
Lineman,
so you can, lineman too, kick returner, all that. So that's a great weapon to have as well, right? Gadget plays, things like that. And you also have Jamal Williams. Can't forget him. I know Alvin Kamara is shining out ridiculously, but you got Jamal too, who, don't forget, had broke the Lions records for most touchdowns in the season.
Yeah.
So that was insane. Good for him. It was just embarrassing to see the Cowboys. I'm actually going to go see them live this weekend, so we're going to see how that pans out against the Ravens. So
have fun with that,
right? That 2 teams of mediocrity right now, but
gotta love it. Love the NFL and the parody. This is great stuff.
Yeah, guys. Right. All right. So let's move it on to a shocker: Packers, Colts.
Yeah. Speaking of parody, anybody knew Malik Willis was good at football?
I did not. I talked a lot of trash last week, and I thought it was backed up by his performances. And he didn't look lights out, obviously, but he played to his strengths. I think they worked out how to run the offense with him in it. There was a lot of run plays involved with him, and they don't do that with Jordan Love just because he's more of a pocket passer, right? He'll move around in the pocket. But Josh Jacobs looked way better than he did week 1. And that's just, it's a given. I mean, it's a new offense for him. It's a new team. It's going to take a little bit of time. The Packers have always had a decent offensive line as well. Aaron Jones thrived in it, and, they're missing out on that. But I think Josh Jacobs brings a little bit more and is a little bit younger than Aaron Jones. So I think he'll kind of perform better and better as the season goes.
Matt LaFleur is a top 5 head coach in this league. I'm confident to say that because he constructed a game plan around Malik Willis to hold his hand, but it worked. But their running game, against a pretty stout defensive line for the Colts,
correct,
was actually a marvel to see. So I was very, very, very impressed by Matt LaFleur and his play calling and his play design there.
Yeah.
For the Colts, we are going to have an Anthony Richardson discussion. Not today. But we're gonna have it.
Yeah, AR5. I don't know, man.
Listen, we know he's still raw. He missed basically the entire season last year.
Correct.
So I'll give him grace for that. But there are some really, really bad mistakes that he's making in the game.
Man, week 1 he was shining though.
He still had some bad interceptions.
He did.
But his shines overshadowed that.
Exactly.
This game, he didn't have that many shines. And so, again, week 2, I'm going to give AR5 time to grow. He's a very raw prospect. Didn't play much in college.
Yeah.
Again, missed a lot last year. So we're going to give him some time. But if this continues to like week 8, where he's still making the same boneheaded mistakes,
you gotta look at yourself and kind of figure out what you
Yeah.
gotta fix and how to fix it.
Exactly.
I think we both picked the Colts to win this game
We
too,
did.
which is unfortunate. But again, who expected Malik Willis to do what he did? Enough about that game. It wasn't nothing crazy. Kind of low scoring. The next game though, Browns Jaguars. Let's just keep moving. I mean, there's nothing crazy to talk about. Trevor Lawrence doesn't look good. I mean, Deshaun looked a little bit better. Mr. 24, happy endings. But
I thought it was 33.
I lost count, honestly.
It's too many right now.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna say a couple things. I'm gonna ask you guys a question and let us know in the comments. Is Doug Peterson a fraud? Let us know. Is Doug Peterson a fraud? Because the Jaguars look absolutely horrendous, and the Browns didn't look that good either. So the fact that they won this game is disgusting to me. I feel bad
but it was close.
I feel bad for Jacksonville fans because Trevor Lawrence does not look good.
There's a lot of issues with the Jaguars right now. I mean, they're trying to figure out, two wide receivers that are new, right? If I'm not mistaken, Gabe Davis
and Brian Thomas.
And Brian Thomas. They're trying to work that stuff out. It seemed like Gabe Davis got a lot of targets and barely got any receptions. I didn't watch this game, to be honest with you guys, but I kind of saw the highlights. It didn't seem like they were lights out. Evan Ingram randomly was out before the game, like an hour before the game. They said he was going to be out. So I think he's missing his blanket there. Bigsby and Etienne are the only shining lights on that offense right now because it seems like they're a good 1-2. But it seems like they got some stuff to work out. And again, it's week 2, so who knows if they could just turn it around. But right now, it looks like the Texans are going to win that division 100%. Yeah, everybody else is 0-2. Smells like bitch in here. So
I'll say this though: look, when your defense only gives up 18 points, you gotta score.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're holding them down, but the Browns defense is nothing to be joking about either. You can't forget that.
Yeah, they played better. Played better.
Yeah.
But we don't like we like the Browns. We don't like Deshaun Watson. That's it. And moving on.
Alrighty, Jets Titans. Will Levis, what are you doing?
What are you doing, bro?
What the fuck are you doing?
Oh my gosh!
Right? Oh man! You saw the clip of the coach walking on?
Yo, that coach had every right to do that.
100%. Yeah,
because he did. It was the same exact scenario, same exact mistake he made the week prior.
Correct.
Where he did the meme thing, bro.
No. This time he was kind of on the.
I know,
turf.
but
yeah.
Dude, you're not Patrick Mahomes, dude.
Yeah,
you're parallel to the ground, and you pitch it backwards.
His receiver was not ready for that either. He's just like, yo, come on, man. What?
Nobody. He wasn't even ready.
He wasn't ready for that. You're right. I think he should have just taken the sack and
take the 3 points.
Yeah,
man.
but. Keep in mind, I mean, he didn't play a whole year last year, right?
Yeah.
So it's still kind of his rookie season a little bit, right? I mean, he's had a good amount of time to kind of play in the offense and learn, but he did not look that great. He did throw a good amount of long balls and deep balls over to
Calvin
Ridley was fantastic.
Yeah.
But I think the Jets defense kind of had their number in this game, and the Jets, I mean, they were using a lot of Allen, I think his name is
Brendan Allen. Yeah.
And our boy Brees Hall. So I think they're going to run that offense really well with those two.
Mm-hmm.
I think the receivers are going to starve a little bit.
I think so.
I think so. I mean, you got Mike Williams, you got Alan Lazard, you got Garrett Wilson. I think one of those guys might get 1,000 yards, and the other two are going to slowly hate themselves.
I think it'd be Garrett who gets that 1,000.
Oh, of course, yeah. Garrett definitely he's that number one target. Conklin looked pretty decent when it came to blocking, as well as catching, which is a little shocking compared to how his prior career was.
For sure.
But I think the Jets did look good. Not too much to hate on, not too much to really discuss. The Titans 0-2, step it up, or Texans are taking that division easily.
For sure.
But
Jets looked better.
For sure.
They looked better. I don't think they're all the way there yet that they want to be, but long season guys. And Aaron Rodgers will get it together.
No.
There'll be chemistry on there. The defense, I hope, will play also better when they're not playing against Will Levis-led teams. But the Jets, they looked better, which is all you want from these teams is improvement. Right? If you're a fan of any one of these teams, all you want to see is week to week improvement, growth, and getting better. And that's what happened to the Jets. So great job on the win. They're 1-1, and we'll see where that goes.
Yeah. Next game was pretty fantastic, if you ask me. It was a kind of back and forth. The Bucks versus the Lions.
Whew.
Baker's showing up. Baker
Mayfield. Baker is bigger, guys. We talked about 2 episodes in a row how much we love Baker Mayfield.
Redemption arc. Good for you, guys. Good for you.
Former number 1 pick, casted away from the Browns after taking them to their only playoff win in over before I was born.
God knows, yeah, right.
Now he was sacked 5 times by one Aiden Hutchinson, who was still a dog, who was a beast, but still beat him. Oh man, it's the Buccaneers. We love to see Baker Mayfield thriving. Jared Goff looks like he's regressing. I don't like that for the Lions. That game looked like he was the castaway Jared Goff from the Rams from 2022.
Look, when it comes, 21. When it comes to Goff, it seemed like he wasn't completely out there. It seemed like he was missing a little bit on his throws, as well as kind of the game plan.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You got those 2 fantastic backs in Montgomery and Gibbs, and it seemed like they weren't utilized enough. Mm-hmm. But then again, keep in mind that the Bucks defense is nothing to
nothing to sneeze over.
Right?
Really
kind of. The Bucks are the Bucks. Now they've lost little pieces here and there, but they've managed to kind of maintain that core group. Mm-hmm. Vita Vea, he's getting older, but he's still a dog.
Even with their injuries on the back end, they're still pretty solid. Correct. The way Todd Bowles runs his blitzes is, I think this might be one of his best years so far.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's a masterclass right now.
Yeah, I think the Bucks and the Saints are going to run away with that division, but the Bucks, I mean, even Baker run the ball. I was just like, there's no way.
Dude, he put that one defender on his butt, bro.
He basically juked the defender out, which is hilarious. Yeah, that was a fantastic game. I like that. Hopefully they continue to both be good offenses and be, thriving.
For sure.
Yeah. I mean, it was a good game overall. I have nothing to kind of yell about or talk smack about, so.
If you want to yell about something, let's yell about the Raiders-Ravens game. And let's yell at the Ravens because it's week 2 and they kind of don't look like they know what they're doing. Like the Ravens always have a couple games where they just play down to their opponent and it's super frustrating. You have Lamar Jackson, you have Derrick Henry, you have Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews.
Zay Flowers.
You have Zay Flowers. Run the ball. And then throw it over the top. Or do something that allows you to win these games. Like, there's just, as much as we love Harbaugh, he just always sometimes has these lapses. And I get it. Their defense is recovering from losing a bunch of their coordinators and position coaches from last year.
Correct.
Mike McDonald gone, Anthony Weaver gone, a lot of their coaches gone. Even their offensive line coach passed away to begin the season, so rest in peace to him. But losing to the Raiders is a sad one. Shout out to the Raiders. Shout out to Max Crosby for being an absolute dog. Monster. Shout out to Devontae Adams for being an absolute dog.
Don't forget Brock Bowers. I think
shout out Brock Bowers for being an absolute dog.
I guess he's considered rookie in the year in my eyes right now. I know it's early in the season, but it seems like he's the front runner. I don't think anybody else has been lights out like him.
Certainly not.
Yeah, no, he's been targeted a decent amount. He's been catching the ball. And he's been doing his thing and helping that offense achieve. Now, the Ravens, it seems like they're still in a slump from what happened last year.
Yeah.
I think the playoffs were trash for them.
Yeah.
I think they beat a Texans team that, it's their first year altogether. I think the Texans team is way better this year.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. Now, when it came to actually, the big stage, they fumbled quite literally, actually.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. I think they're still kind of struggling and need to figure out a couple things with that team. I think Derrick Henry hasn't been everything that we expected, but keep in mind he is an aging back. So that's something. But the Raiders defense did kind of do enough work to put off the Ravens and win them that game. Ooh, sorry guys. No, but I'm embarrassed about the Ravens. The Raiders are still on a rebuild. Gardner Minshew looked way better than he did in week 1.
Week 2 week improvement.
Yeah, week 2 week improvement, like we were speaking about. That game was interesting to say the less. And now I'm going to go see the Ravens, and hopefully they actually beat the Cowboys this weekend. I don't know. I think it's going to be back and forth, 2 teams of mediocrity.
Is that game in Dallas?
It is in Dallas.
Oh,
correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Jerry's World.
Jerry's
where they
World.
just got slapped by the Saints.
Correct. Yeah. So we'll see what happens with that one.
Yeah, Ravens, get it together. Raiders, great job, Antonio Pierce. Kudos to y'all.
Game
y'all
you weren't supposed to win.
Game you were not supposed to win. And we like those. We like those. We love good underdog story. So,
speaking of underdog story,
I picked though the Cardinals to beat the Rams.
Yeah, congrats.
You laughed at me.
Okay, yeah. All right. Look, when it comes to the Cardinals and Rams, the Rams have dominated in the last couple of years, right? You can't say that's not a fact.
No, of course.
It's been proven.
Facts are facts.
You've seen it.
Facts are facts.
The Cardinals are still unknown, right? But man, did they show up. And the Rams, they are screwed.
I'm going to need the world to put respect on Kyler Murray's name.
Not yet.
Yes.
Let's see how this whole season
He's not just a Call of Duty merchant.
Let's see when Call of Duty comes out how he'll be playing, all right? Maybe he regresses. Maybe, Black Ops 6 gets him raging, with that movement, that new movement that they got.
Oh, my God.
Man, you could jump and then, turn around and, shoot, man.
Listen.
Have you played the beta?
No, I haven't.
Thank God. I got this close to smashing my controller. That movement is insane.
Oh my gosh. Look, man, for anyone who was worried about MHJ,
I wasn't worried.
I hope you guys are just stop talking football for the rest of your lives.
Dang. Wow.
It's MHJ, bro. We all knew he was gonna eat 2 tutties in the first quarter, over 100 yards in the first half. Dude, the Cardinals decimated the Rams. Now, the Rams have an entire football roster of injuries, so we'll give them a little leeway.
They just lost both their wide receivers in Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp.
They have about 3 offensive linemen also injured.
Right?
They have a bunch of defensive
players like linebackers and defensive
safeties and corners.
Yeah, they're all over.
The whole team is hurt, bro.
Yeah, it's Higbee's still out.
Higbee's
just stuff like that.
Man, I feel for Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay. It might be.
They might have to wrap it up here soon. Honestly, this season it's not looking too good already. Who knows? Sorry, if they could figure out a way to win in these next couple of weeks, while Puka gets healthy, Cooper Kupp gets healthy, and some of these defensive players, I think they can make a late run for the playoffs. But it's very hard, especially when you're on the division with these Cardinals. The Cardinals look fantastic. MHJ, like we were talking about, I still think he's a little too cocky for who he is. I get your dad was in the NFL, but you still got to prove yourself. This was a good starting point for him. Yeah. It was a great game for him. I think he's going to improve a little bit more. He's another good candidate for offensive rookie. But again, we got to see it on a good team, on a healthy team. See how he performs too. Because the Rams just look horrible.
Yeah. Week 2, guys.
Yeah, week 2. Gotta love it. Yeah. So something has to change for those Rams, or they tank the season and get a nice draft pick. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how that'll work out. But Cardinals, keep doing your thing. Love you, James Conner. Trey McBride, step it up.
Mm-hmm. And before we get into the next game, once again, guys, if you like what you see, go ahead, smash that like button, comment, subscribe, share. And give us your feedback. We gladly accept every feedback.
Hey, if this ain't your thing, we get it. If you hate us, just say that. Just put in the comments yo, I hate that guy's face. God,
be honest.
Shut up. You don't know nothing about ball. All right, okay. Take it easy.
Yeah, take it easy.
But appreciate you guys watching. Watch all the way through. See what we talk about and if it makes any sense. I don't know if it makes any sense. Who knows? It's football. So it's a competitive league. Like I said, you can win one week and then get smacked the other week.
We love it. This is great.
Let's move on. Bengals, Chiefs.
Burrowhead.
I still back it. I
picked the Chiefs. Listen, I was watching that game. I was nervous.
Yeah? Rightfully so, huh? Yeah. Look what I'll say. I still believe in the Bengals. Burrow's coming back from an injury. It's going to take a little bit of time, right? Slow start. That's fine. Jamar hasn't really been doing too much. T. Higgins, I don't know if it's really a hamstring. It might just be him waiting to get traded. And if he gets traded, I mean, the Rams are looking.
He's not getting traded.
The Rams are looking.
He's an unrestricted free agent. I don't think the Bengals will trade him. But
if he's not playing, I think you have to get what you can get for him and move on.
Oh, you definitely have to.
Exactly.
I'm not saying the Bengals are competent enough to do that.
If I'm them, I'm making choices here.
They've already screwed Jamar Chase. He said he's not talking. He's not doing any discussions during the
season. Correct.
And so the Bengals are bangling, but it's the beginning of the season. Look, in the past, since Joe Burrow was drafted, they're 1-9 in the first 2 weeks.
Yeah,
1-9. Okay, so this is what they do. They get everybody's so scared, and then they make a run at the end of the season. Now, what's different about this season is, of course, the contract situation between Jamar Chase,
T. Higgins, and not having Tyler Boyd anymore because they really had him 1, 2, and 3.
Now they just have a 1.
Hey! They picked up Mike Gesicki, which I've been a fan of.
He's been good.
A fan of for the last couple of years. He showed up.
Yeah.
They utilized their tight ends more than they ever have, in my opinion, and that's because they really didn't have the right ones. I think Gesicki moving to the Bengals in the offseason was a great thing for him.
Yeah,
I hope the best for him. He was like one of my little sleepers, but I think the Chiefs got lucky. I think the Chiefs, let's say lucky. That pass interference call was
pass interference.
It was
you cannot
soft.
play the
it was soft.
No, slow down looks soft, but
did you see in the same play where there was 2 Chiefs players holding?
Look, ref balls.
Yeah.
Look, we know the refs aren't perfect, and we know we harp on them a lot. But as for that call, the pass interference, the rule is simple: you can't play the ball through the offensive player. You have to give them a chance to make the catch. So that's a flag. The holding is also a flag. They didn't throw it.
They should have offset.
It should have offset in hindsight, but hindsight is always 20/20. Harrison Butker, perfect from beyond the arc.
Yeah, whatever. Patrick looked horrendous, throwing 2 picks.
Hey, what's wrong with Patrick? The Chiefs. I kind of feel bad for them. Again, Hollywood Brown out for the season.
Like that.
I like the pick. Taylor Britt was awesome, but Hollywood Brown out for the season.
That was a little bit of. It wasn't really a big shocker for me, just because they said I don't know what was going on with his shoulder, but it's like his rib cage was detached or something like that. So yeah, exactly, it was bad. So
yeah, it's really bad. But
they made it seem like it wasn't too bad.
Isaiah Pacheco's now out for a couple weeks.
Travis
Kelce
fractured
ever
fibula.
Since. I don't know what you were spending your.
What are you trying to say, man? Hey, go ahead.
Travis Kelce, bro.
Say what
your off-season spending with Taylor Swift is not producing, my guy.
Yikes! Wow.
You
heard that?
A little
you
bit
heard that,
quiet.
Kelce?
I'm gonna need the real Travis Kelce to stand up, please. If the Chiefs are gonna do this three-peat, Mahomes can't average 2 interceptions a game, and Kelce needs some more catches.
Still love you, Jason.
We love Jason. We love Jason.
Look, please come on my podcast. Jason Kelce, Travis Kelce, 2 different guys. I think Jason very focused on his career when he was in there, right? Mm-hmm. I feel like he was just trying to improve and impress. Travis, I think might be time to wrap it up.
You think so?
I think so. I think he has other things outside of football that he is excited about. Now, you see all these commercials that these 2 are doing. Jason's doing a lot more too. Yeah. Buffalo Wild Wings, just to name one of the big ones. And also their podcast. They got other stuff going on.
Amazon, yeah.
Correct. They got other stuff going on. I don't know if you saw Jason dancing.
Yes.
That was great.
Yes.
I think he's been taking lessons or something like that during the off season. Well, I mean, during his retirement. So. Yeah, during his retirement. Yeah. My bad. But I think Travis might just be done, unfortunately. It might be a hot take. I know some people out there are like, yo, what's this guy talking about? Travis done? No. I think the Chiefs have some stuff to figure out.
For sure.
They got 2 great wide receivers in Worthy and Rice, but also Travis has always been that safety blanket. It's not looking too good right now. Let's see if the dynasty falls apart. But Travis, I mean, I get it. If you want to go right off into the sunset with your lady and go do fantastic things across the world, right? We all get it. There's a time in every man's life, right?
Sure.
When he just wants to wrap it up, especially in professional sports.
When you've been killing your body for the last 15 plus years.
Exactly. So. When you've been grinding, not 15 plus, their whole life pretty much.
Their whole life, exactly.
If you really think about it, since they started playing football, I mean, it's always been a grind. So that's something to kind of take into account. Some of these players, they're like, hey, I got to go spend time with my family. Like Jason. Jason was like, I got 3 girls. I got to go spend time with them and, be a dad.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens in all sports, soccer, football, baseball, all that. You got to make a decision at one point. It was like whether or not it's time to give it up, which is unfortunate. I love watching Kelsey do the things he does. I mean, like, that toss pass that he did back to Kadarius Toney.
Yeah.
Took it to the house, stuff like that.
Good times. Look, if anybody can overcome stuff like this, it's the Chiefs.
Yeah,
we've seen it time and time again.
For sure.
The Bengals, I'm not too worried about them. They'll pick it up. It's the Bengals. I don't think it'll be a lights out burning season for them, but I think they'll still be a good Joe Burrow.
Correct.
That defense came together great with that one-handed pick. Was awesome. That defense is still great.
Yeah.
And so I think the Bengals will be good.
They'll be fine.
They're lucky that. Well, actually, they're not lucky. They're 0-2. Never mind. Now the Steelers Broncos, and we'll try to cover this in 30 seconds or less.
Broncos still look bad. Bo Nix, I'm sorry. Trash. They haven't thrown a touchdown. None of these rookies have thrown a touchdown yet. They're tied with J.J. McCarthy, who hasn't even played a snap. Steelers, Justin Fields, I mean, good for you. You're winning. Broncos country, let's not ride. No, because you guys are losing. That's all I have to say about that game. Nothing very interesting, nothing exciting.
Holding the hand of Justin Fields is working. He makes a couple good throws a game. No turnover-worthy plays, which is good. We like that. However,
it's the Broncos.
And Bo Nix is garbage. Sean Payton, I'm looking right at you. You said, "Oh, we played the NFL. We played the Vikings. We played the Vikings.
You played yourself.
You played yourself.
Bo Nix. That's embarrassing.
Bo Nix was touted in college for not making bad plays because he played like 10
making
years.
A lot of them now.
He's making a lot of bad plays now. It's only week 2, but the Broncos suck.
Let's see if they can pick it up. All right, and now to an exciting game, just because it includes my team, the Texans. Texans versus the Bears. Caleb Williams, garbage.
He was pressured on 36 of 37 passing snaps.
That boy brought the pressure. And who brought the pressure? My boy Ryan.
Look, CJ Stroud looks like a 10-year NFL vet, and Caleb Williams looks like a rookie. But the Bears' offensive line, which was supposed to be good, was not good. Romo Dunze, you're known as a high point ball getter, and you dropped a touchdown.
It wasn't an easy ball.
It wasn't. You're in the NFL.
Make the catch.
Keenan Allen injured, and if you're not going to use DJ Moore properly, why use DJ Moore at all? And sorry, I think I was the one to tell you that DeAndre Swift was not as good as you thought. 14 carries, 18 yards.
I blame that team.
He's the 3rd best running back on the Bears.
I blame the team. No, don't do that. Don't do that to Swift.
Look, I've been telling Los DeAndre Swift is a offensive line merchant for years. He has bad vision. He's not as good as you think.
He's a murderer. No, I'm kidding. No. Allegedly. No, when it comes to the Texans and Bears game, the Texans shut out. They embarrassed them. It wasn't a high-scoring game. I mean, 19-13. You could.
It wasn't high-scoring, but CJ
wasn't. CJ was threading the ball through the needle, right?
Collins.
Perfect. Nico Collins was eating. Stephon Diggs didn't even get that many catches this week. Tank Dell, he was getting a little unlucky. It just seemed like he could not catch the ball for his life, which is, it happens. He'll get back into it. He'll have one amazing play, and everybody will be like, "Oh, he's back!" Yeah. The Bears, that offensive line, they spent all this draft capital. They spent all this money on these wide receivers, on these running backs, and haven't focused on the offensive line. It doesn't seem like they're protecting Caleb.
Shane Waldron, I'm looking at you.
Yeah, it doesn't look good right now for the Bears. Now, DeAndre Swift, I think he does need a good O-line.
Overrated.
But a lot of running backs do need a good O-line.
Yes.
Come on now.
But
I think catching the ball out of the backfield was perfect for him. Running, they were getting smacked. all three of those running backs were getting smacked. You can't tell me otherwise. Khalil Herbert was not having a good day, and Roschon Johnson was not having a good day either.
I still think I'm gonna die on the hill and let DeAndre Swift is overrated.
That's fine. I'll let you have your opinion, right? But
it's why we love football.
Yeah, we'll see how he goes for the rest of the year. I might end up agreeing with you at the end. But when it came to when he was in Detroit, when he was at the Eagles, he had good offensive lines.
For sure.
And, he balled out. Not as much last year, but still.
As we said, guys, week-to-week improvement is what we want to see. We didn't see that from the Bears.
We didn't see that.
We didn't see that from the Bears.
Absolutely not.
In fact, they just regressed.
No, Caleb got a little bit more yards this week. I'll say one good thing about him. Everybody... Oh, man.
No, it's fine. Look, Caleb Williams, it's not college. You can't break a sack, roll out to your right, and throw into triple coverage and expect your guy to come down with it. All right? That's just not what's going to happen. And I'm hoping he'll learn that. Look, because I want all these guys to succeed except for Bo Nix, for real.
Can I speak my piece?
Yeah, go ahead, dude.
Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
I maybe saw him throw the ball more than 10 yards like 2 or 3 times that game. Mm-hmm. Everything was like behind the line of scrimmage or like a yard or two down the field. Mm-hmm. I think they are babying him. I think he is struggling, and I was right.
Through the first
all this hype about this guy, and there's no results right now. Now, don't get me wrong. Like we said last week, he's not a CJ Stroud. Outlier. CJ Stroud was an outlier.
Complete outlier, dude.
But Caleb is not looking good. You can see him on the bench frustrated. You can see a lot of these players on the bench frustrated.
DJ Moore.
And then for CJ Stroud to come talk to him after the game and give him some advice and him seeming like he's not interested, again, who knows? Maybe he did take it into his head and kind of think about that.
It's always hard to judge right after the game ends.
Yeah,
because these guys are super competitive.
They're mad. They're frustrated. It's been a day.
If you lose a game and you play horribly, you ain't really want to talk. No, but I remember in high school, bro, whenever we got smacked and we played bad, we wouldn't say nothing to nobody. So we'll give him that for now. Again, week 2, but we better see some improvement in week 3.
No, I doubt it. But I'm gonna keep that hype alive that Caleb Williams is not that good. Moving on to the last game, Eagles, Falcons, Monday Night Football. Kirko changes back. Maybe. And the Eagles are still fraud. The Eagles are still Swiss cheese. That defense,
listen,
Swiss cheese.
I know we like Vic Fangio sometimes because some of his schemes are good.
I'm indifferent.
But his quarters coverage prevent defense at the end of the game is something he does all the time. And it's super frustrating to watch because you know what's going to happen. So I feel bad for you Philly fans because anytime a team is going to drive for the last, drive, the game-winning drive, you can bet your pants, you can bet your Apple Watches, you can bet whatever thing you have that Vic Fangio is going to run 2 deep safeties, quarters coverage for that drive, prevent defense, and you're going to get scored on, and you're going to lose that game.
Primetime Kirk.
Yeah. Ever since he left Washington, he's been much better in primetime. Yeah. I wonder why.
I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe it's, the commies.
They weren't the commies then, though.
I know. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. I mean, he left, and I think he went into 2 different schemes, and he has weapons around him.
For sure.
It looks a little bit better for him. That game was a little bit embarrassing for the Eagles. Figure your stuff out. Saquon, catch the ball.
Catch the ball, Saquon.
I don't know what you put on your gloves. Maybe like butter or something.
I mean, he averages like 6 drops a year, so.
I know, but
it's crazy.
You leave the Giants, but the Giants don't leave you, huh, Saquon? No, it's it was a good game overall. Either team deserved to win. I think the Eagles should have played a little bit better, but again, that's just my opinion. Mm-hmm. The Falcons do have a good team, though. Can't say they did that they don't.
No.
So
Falcons got talent for sure,
but a lot of the money and everything, a lot of the predictions had the Eagles winning it. So on the Eagles standpoint, I think you should have done a little bit better. But again, I mean, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. It's a competitive league, so
and we always clap for the underdogs here. Great job for the Falcons.
No. I dropped Kirk in my fantasy league for a reason. Our fantasy league. Yeah.
Oh, true. That's true.
Yeah, he played horribly week 1, and I still beat you. So
Okay. Anyway, but I beat you this week, 10-6 in picks, and you're 6-10.
Nah, I think you're a little wrong about that. I don't know, man.
You want to count it again?
I don't know, because I started off pretty hot. If we really think about it, I mean,
the results are right here.
I had the Bills, I had the Vikings, I had the Commanders, I had the Seahawks, I had the chart. No, I had
you didn't.
I had the Panthers, and then I had the Cowboys, and then we both had the Colts, and then I chose the Jaguars.
Yeah.
Wow, man. I definitely chose the Jets.
No, you had the Titans.
Oh, you know why? Because that's why I changed my vote, because you chose and then we both chose the Lions.
No, I chose the Buccaneers.
Wow, and then we both chose the Ravens. Definitely.
I chose the Cardinals.
Yeah, and then the Chiefs. Man, that was a close one. All right, fine. And then who do we choose? Steelers, Broncos. Did we both chose the Steelers?
We both chose the Texans.
And then I chose the Texans.
We both chose the Eagles.
Wow. Dang, I did lose. All right, you guys are gonna see me eat some hot sauce next week. So after the recap for next week, I'll definitely do that. Or we could do double or nothing and see how that works out.
Yeah, we can do double or nothing, bro.
All right, we'll figure it out. All right, yeah, we'll talk about it in the next episode. We'll talk about kind of our picks for week 3, and a couple other things like Thursday night football. Oh wait, Thursday night football. We got to talk about that right now.
Thursday night football, New England travels to New York Jets in an old-time classic. But this time, well, not for the first time, but this time it's Jacoby Brissett versus Aaron Rodgers. Brisket. I got the Jets.
I'm going with the Jets too.
Yeah, we both got the Jets.
I'm playing to win this week. All right, nah, I'm not doing that hot sauce.
Honestly, I could see New England winning, but
it's not out of the realm.
It's not out of the realm. The way they've been playing, it's not out of the realm of possibility. But I expect another improvement for the Jets to play a little bit better. I expect a good game from the 2 running backs, Braylon Allen and Breece Hall. Garrett Wilson to have some touches. The defense play better. I think the Patriots might be exposed just a little bit in this game. Not too much, just a little bit. They have been playing well, but I expect a good game from the Jets.
I don't know. The Jets seem a little wishy-washy for me, just because of what happened week 1 and then week 2, right? Yeah, no, I'm not picking New England. Sorry, they won week 1 against Joe Burrow. That's fine. Week 2, no, sir. Gino destroyed him. So I'd rather go with the Jets on that aspect, just because. I mean, yeah, you got Antonio Gibson, you got Stevenson, and you got Henry, but Polk. I mean, that rookie, he doesn't seem too bad. Yeah, so. I think the Jets have a little bit more weapons and a better defense, so that's why I'd rather go with them. So
okay, so that's our pick for Thursday night. The Jets. This episode will be out Thursday morning. Be sure to catch it Thursday morning, Thursday afternoon.
No, it's gonna be Thursday afternoon, evening.
Thursday afternoon before the game, right?
For sure, yeah. This is gonna drop before the game. For those who are watching before the game, I mean, if you catch it after, you'll see whether or not we were both right or if we were both wrong. So.
Yeah. But thanks again for joining us on this podcast, Jump Off Sides. Go ahead, like, subscribe, comment, and share. We would love your feedback and opinion. And catch us on the next episode where we break down our week 3 picks. Until next time, I'm Ed.
I'm Los.
Jump Off Sides.
Peace.